The senator from Alaska.
Madam President, before I respond to one of the amendments that was offered just a little bit ago, I first want to say I know my colleague from Alaska was down here on the floor talking about today as Alaska Day. It was a great day for our country when the final transfer from Russia to the United States, the great state of Alaska, which has had incredible resources that this country has benefited from. And I just want to wish all the people back home a great Alaska Day. But I came down to the floor because I know my friend from Arizona, Senator McCain, has offered an amendment on elimination of transportation enhancements. And let me speak from two parts. One, as a former mayor that dealt with this issue over and over again, but also as someone who his family's been in the visitor industry and understands the power of a great community and what it can be and what it can do for the long-term economic health of a community when you ensure that the infrastructure is designed and built right, and also someone from the real estate industry. But first, as a former mayor, these issues we debated a great deal on transportation enhancements. And I know there'll be issues at times. It doesn't matter if it's this program or the Defense Department or the Interior Department. I can name any department over the years that have had issues that have come up that are not the most appropriate expenditure of the dollars. But when you look at enhancements and transportation enhancements, they're an incredible asset. I will tell you from Alaska's perspective, and I will tell you from the mayor of Anchorage, as I was for 5 years. During that 5 years, 5.5 years, we built more roads than the last 3 mayors combined over 15 years. In 5 years, we built a ton of roads to enhance our community. But the roads of the 50s and the 60s are no longer the viable roads of the future. In the old days, they used to build them, just pave them. Maybe you might put some curb on there. You might put a sidewalk, but barely. And that would be considered the road, the transportation network. But things have changed quite a bit. The roads we built in Anchorage not only had the pavement, the curb, the sidewalk, the transportation enhancements, the landscaping that goes along with it, because when you put all that into play, the net result is you get a better transportation network. You can also utilize it, as we have done on a couple of the roads in our neighborhoods, to slow down traffic so they would not be a danger to the children within the zone. Or in case of some where we've built pedestrian multi-use trails, which I can point to several within our own area where I was mayor in Anchorage, where these trails became huge enhancements for the neighborhood, but also to our visitors. When the visitors came and spent money in our economy, maybe they went to a place to visit or they went out fishing, but maybe they came back and wanted after dinner to take an evening walk. And these trails, which were well designed and landscaped properly, would be another experience that they would see and feel and take back to their own hometown. This amendment that Senator McCain has brought forward is opposed by not only the U.S. Conference of Mayors, but the National Tour Association, the U.S. Travel Association, the Southeastern Tourism Society, and many others are growing on the list, because they see not only the value for improving the road infrastructure, but they see the value of attracting a quality of life that makes the property values better around these enhancements, the tourism that comes along with it, the value of economic development. And I think there's just a lack of understanding by some members because they like to pick one or two. And I would agree, constantly we have to review these programs to make sure they're being used for the right purposes. But in this case, I will tell you, and I can show you project after project in Alaska where we saw a great value. It could be the Water Street improvements in Ketchikan, which during my time here in the last 2.5 years, I've seen that development change the front street of their community. The Kenai River Trail improvements, which many people know, the Great Kenai, which has incredible salmon fishing, but ensuring that those trails are safe. The enhancements, and why do you want those trail improvements? Because if you have people crawling all over the banks, you'll deteriorate the banks, you'll create erosion. Net result is you're destroying the habitat, which in turn destroys this great salmon creek. Or in Anchorage, where we improved Ship Creek with the same kind of enhancements. Why did we do that? Again, to make it safer for the pedestrians that were utilizing it. It was a great add to our tourism, but it also ensured that $6+ million fishery that Ship Creek was and is in Anchorage continued to thrive because we weren't damaging the habitat. I can go through one project after project after project that we utilized enhancements to improve the quality of our road projects. And I know some want to believe road projects are just this asphalt and maybe a little drain, and that's it. Well, I will tell you now, putting my hat on from the real estate industry, I spent many years in the real estate industry, and what people looked for was the quality of environment around them. If you were on a strip paved road or a barely paved road with maybe a little drain and curb, it had a certain value. But if you were on a road that had a nice pedestrian pathway, nice curb and gutter and landscaping, I guarantee you those property values were stronger, better. The local community benefited from that because they now had stronger property taxes off those higher value properties. The homeowner benefited because they had an investment that would maintain its value because the quality of the infrastructure around it, the roads, the water, the sewer, and in this case the enhancements, were of high quality. So for those that kind of brush these off as wasteful expenditures, I can show you again project after project that we took substandard roads, enhanced them with transportation enhancement resources, dollars, and the net result is we had economic development occur around it. We had quality of life improve. We had better values in our properties that are owned by the private sector, may they be commercial or residential. So again, I would strongly recommend to my friend from Arizona that I know it's easy because staffs run around here. They always want to get the worst case scenario of everything. We can all do that. That's easy to do. You can always find one project somewhere about something. But that's not what this is about. It's about the 90+%, probably 98% of the projects that really are incredible enhancements to communities. And again, as a mayor, as someone who's been in the real estate industry, I have seen the value of these. As I mentioned also, the organizations that don't support these. The tourism industry folks that I mentioned don't support these because they understand that when you are traveling to a community, it is not just about the one item you're going there, and let's use Alaska as an example, going there for king salmon fishing or maybe in the wintertime skiing, whatever it might be. There's these other pieces that people experience. In Alaska, we have some great trail systems that people rave about and they talk about. Wherever I go around the country, and I run into some from that visited Alaska, they'll tell me, oh, I was in, and they'll name the community. If they were in Anchorage when I was mayor, they would say, oh, I was in your city, and oh, by the way, I went on this trail or that trail. Ship Creek Trail is an example. Beautiful trail that at lunchtime, tons of people utilize. And it's a huge benefit for increasing the quality of life for our downtown. So again, I would encourage, and I recognize, and there's things that I agree with Senator McCain on multiple things we've actually worked on, defense authorization, but this one, I just beg to differ on his rationale of getting rid of this resource. This is important for local communities. And the best part of this is, I want to emphasize, this is not congressional earmarks. It is money set aside that the local communities, through their metropolitan planning efforts, or in the state, through their efforts, decide on how to spend this money. It is the best way to allow local communities less federal control to do the right thing based on some framework and guidelines here. So if you want less federal government, this is one of those programs that allow the flexibility on the local end to do the right thing, what they think will enhance their road improvements in their communities, may they be small neighborhoods or major highways. I would, as I've always done to Senator McCain, I always do it, I always invite him to Alaska. I'll take him on the bypass, the scenic bypass, where you can drive, pull out, see some incredible beluga whales, see some incredible weather, go down to Girdwood, see an incredible rainforest at the same time. I will take him to 4 or 5 of these projects because he'll want to pull over to take the photos. And those will be federally funded projects that made it possible for you to do that. Why is that important? Because if you drive the new Seward Highway, the Seward Highway from Anchorage to Girdwood, it's not the most safest highway. These pullouts, these waysides, these enhancements have made it a safer place. You can pull over and see Dall sheep walking on the side of the mountains right there. But instead of just stopping on the road and pulling off on the side there a little bit, you actually pull off into a wayside. Safer, better for tourism, It does the right thing, ensuring that the project is a better project. So again, I would challenge my friend from Arizona that I will gladly take him on many of these projects and show him the value of what's done, what we have done with them, and the economic opportunity that goes along with it, and the jobs that are created with it, and the long-term benefit to the values of the properties that are associated with these improvements that are in the private sector. So, Madam President, I want to thank you for allowing me a few minutes. Also, again, to wish my friends and all my constituents back home a great Alaska Day, but also to talk about an important amendment that I think would be the wrong direction if we vote for it. Thank you very much. I yield the floor.